So far, my series on F1 cars have shown the cool, the beautiful, and the weird? But compared to this, they've been relatively conventional. Now, this is not the only six-wheeled F1 car, but it is the only successful one. You may think that this is for traction, but actually, it's really for less drag, meaning higher speeds. Smart, right? A smaller wheel has to rotate faster for the same vehicle speed, and with this, the tire would physically pull off the rim due to RPM. So, smaller wheels, better for higher speed, and higher speed is worse for smaller wheels. Oh. Despite this, it ended up being a big success that even Ferrari tried to copy, and when they failed to cash in on its success, well, they sabotaged the tire deal. Others also tried, and the FIA took a big sigh and said, "Ugh, 4 wheels only, guys." So with my new 3D modeling skills, I made my own for automation and to put into beamng. Here's the problem though. You can't have 6 wheels in automation. So, with some J-beam trickery, and thanks largely to this slider, which for some reason exists, sure, it's actually going to make this a whole lot easier to do what we're going to do. So, a 1973 body with about 2 years lead time of engineering, this should be ready for the 1975 season, which is when this car was actually used. Now, it was a little bit hard to tell what this actually was made out of, but I'm pretty sure it's fiberglass over an aluminium monocoque, which unfortunately we don't have as an option yet. Wikipedia does say it's an aluminium monocoque, but trust me, it most certainly is not. Does that look like aluminium to you? Because to me, no, not even close. Then we're gonna have a mid-longitudinal, some double wishbone, and some double wishbone. Seems to be fairly standard all round. Now for the engine, what do we have in here? Wikipedia says that it has... Oh, no. No. No, not again. Yeah, no, we've made this engine a bunch of different times, so we're just gonna go ahead and reuse one. And we'll kind of go with in the middle, whatever, it doesn't matter. Now, this car is fairly straightforward, so we don't actually have a whole lot of morphing to be done here. We just got a little bit of front morph if you want to do that, and then a little bit of a razy sort of move around morph. That's it. In the paint jobs though, we got a whole bunch of choices. I'm personally going for this design, the dark navy blue with the yellow stripe. Something like this. I think that's good enough. But we have the option to change the side areas. Got a color stripe there, then you've got the ability to change the interior color, then the main body of the color, and then this has a different stripe if you wanted to do things however it is you want to do them. We are, however, just going to change the stripes. Is it just straight blinding yellow? Yeah, it's pretty good. So yes, lots of color choices here if you want to do different things. Basic chassis is not working. That's fine, we'll just turn the chassis off entirely then. Going with rear wheel drive, a manual. There was a 6-speed option, but we're gonna go with a 5-speed. Top speed, I mean, it's gonna be a lot higher considering that this is a speed monster. It was more about top speed than anything else. This thing weighed a lot. It was way overweight. Not that I should talk. Probably got an automatic locker. Still gonna have cross splice and semi-slicks, because we don't have slicks as an option. Probably a magnesium wheel, and we're gonna have to make these wheels much bigger to get the right size. Here's where it gets a little bit tricky. There is so much information that says that this is 10-inch wheels. There is no other information on wheels. What? I hate this so much. The only thing we have is a Lego recreation sort of thing that has what the real car is meant to have, except the dimensions on here are not entirely accurate, but then again, it's also very inconsistent. The wheelbase of this vehicle actually was different in different versions. Look how close this tire is towards the front. But if we look here, massive gap. There has been multiple different versions of this car. So all we can do is hope that this is about as accurate as we can get. Unfortunately, it's got preview only written over it, which is annoying, but we have front tire width, 250. That we can do. 250. That is going to give us way too much traction on the front though. That is going to be insane. And rear tire width is 411. I don't know if we can go that high, can we? Making the rear tire massive is gonna give us the results we want. 395s. God damn, son, the size of that is massive. All right, it's like some sort of wacky racers sort of looking thing. Vented discs, probably a 2-piston, and they are minuscule because they're only 10 inches. But at least there's going to be 4 sets of brakes on the front, so that makes up for it. Go with the semi-clad, lots of brake airflow. Interior is going to be 1 seat, basic, keep everything super duper light. I mean, it might have hydraulic, I'm not sure. We'll just say it does. Standard springs, gas monotube, passive, and set this to race. Now, this is going to be all over the place because my front and rear suspension is only, make the front half as springy and dampeny, so then when it doubles up, I honestly don't know how this is gonna work. But I suppose we'll get there eventually. Here's the other thing. With that tire diameter stuff, we're already getting way too much front traction and we're oversteering way too much. What if we down our front camber to something like 0? Yeah, still not great. We're going to double the front traction in a minute, which means this is going to be a terrible idea. Our brakes are... I mean, probably reduce the front brake force a little bit. You know what, actually, probably reduce the front brake force a lot. We do not want to lock up those front brakes at all. And we are going to have more traction on the rear through some trickery editing, so we should add more traction to the rear as well. I am in such uncharted territory that I have no idea how most of this is going to work. There's going to be so much back and forth tuning that I'm not going to bother showing you guys. I'll just run you over it when I'm done. And it's going to take a really long time. And it's time now to make these the right size. That is close enough. That is super duper wide. That does not seem right. It reckons here it's only 236s. I don't know, this image is proven to be very inaccurate, so maybe I won't trust this one. Or maybe I will, because we got way too much. So let's go and bring it down to 235s. Hopefully that'll make us less oversteery. Now, rear tires. The diameter needs to be 660, and we're currently at about 840, so not too far. There. Close enough. Whew, just getting to that point has been very exhausting. Now let's turn the suspension invisible and remake it from scratch. Suspension, goodbye. Now I don't usually make suspension from scratch, but I want to make it out of primitives and then turn that into actual suspension in beamng, which will be quite a tricky prospect. Let's pick a wheel. I'm seeing a 3-spoke with goddamn spikes coming out of it. What the hell? Okay, do we have anything like that? Oh, hold on. Hold the phone. We do actually have a 3-spoke wheel. It's actually looking pretty darn close. The only difference is this only has a small nut and hub in the middle, whereas this one has a big thing on there, but there's no other, like, proper 3-spoke wheel that looks even close. What a lucky find. Now let's just make it out of plastic. Can we turn that we can't turn the middle spindle invisible. Frick. Yep, no, leaves a big open. Damn it! Why would they make those two things the same? Why must you do this to me? Well, for now, it'll be fine. As for the design, we have a little bit of a splitter, which I have not included on the car, so you can put it on yourself. And it also seems to have a little bit of a curve to it. Do we have anything that exactly fits that description? No, we have this, but it, like, kind of angles down a little bit. I don't want to play with angles of things. Let's try using this. Rotate it back. Oh, but now it's got a lip at the back of it. Damn it. I suppose we'll just use this old generic wing. And we'll just turn down its effective downforce all the way down and plop you into place. Not bad. And for aerodynamics, the front gets no downforce. Oh god, it's creating 0 lift, which means now we have, oh no, we need hundreds of kilos of downforce on the rear now. Oh dear. What do we got? Is that a multi-element wing? I can actually see through there, I think. Yep, I could see through there. Huh, would that make this one of the first, or if not the first multi-element wing? Well, let's go ahead and try making it. First, we need the fat lip wing. We'll go with a regular straight element. Are they all the same? Look how fat that is. So yeah, we're gonna have to make this super thonk. Then we need a much smaller element at the rear. Doesn't look that much smaller. It's really hard to tell what we're looking at, if I'm being honest. I think I'll just grab this, make it less thonkers, rotate it, and fit it into place. Now, what do the end plates look like? I can't really find a good pitch. Wow, okay. This is different from every other one. I've never seen it go all the way down. This is usually what happens. It's usually just a small little thing, except I think this is a car model. There it's normal. There it looks fairly normal. There it looks normal. But yet, there's apparently a version that has that. That's a model. And so is that. Okay, maybe this is not a common one. We're gonna go with, it's kind of almost bullet shaped. And luckily I have a whole whole bunch of wing end plates here in miscellaneous. This one's kind of bullet shaped and vaguely fits the dimension, so I think we'll just use this for now. Plop you in place, mirror you, and I think we're all good there. I have a 3D model accessible to me. What the hell? That is not a wing. What even is that? It's just a big slab of cheese. It's round. I don't get it. Anyway, I suppose. Kind of want to make this one thicker now. There we go. Unfortunately, it does go up at the back, but this is as close as we're gonna get, I think. We have 2 little knacker ducks down here and a couple of little indentations, I'm assuming to help clip on this front wing maybe. Luckily, we have all of these things available to us. They look pretty good there. Now these weird indentation things. I'm thinking we'll use a vent for this. Nice, this. And then we have 2 lots and then 1 in the center. Here they just straight up use metal straps. So I don't know what these are meant to be. Here it's entirely different. It's got little connectors and the front end is nothing the same. I don't know, man. I'm gonna use something like this. And that's come out pretty well, I believe. I don't know. I'm no expert, though technically this does earn me money, and from that money, that does make me a professional, and a professional is an expert. I'm a terrible expert. Let's put the elf branding on here. I feel this is too shiny. We can't really see elf written on here. Go in, edit this to be a little less shiny. Thank you. Now let's write elf on here. We just have to find the right sort of font. It's very bold and looks, I don't know. Not exactly. That's worse. I don't think we have the right options here. I think what we'll do, we'll get rid of that, and instead we'll place them individually. We could try 3D place. Yeah, you know what? Okay, we'll try these ones. I think this can fit our purpose. Then we can make it the same height as the E. Good. Then the final letter, F. Next is, not really a whole lot. We got this little viewing window here, but we have a few different options for that. There is an option where you just don't have it all together. Then there's the ovular sort of style we got here. But the later ones did come with this sort of weird, droopy penis sort of look. And because I already have windows as an option, I think we're gonna go with the ovular one. Make that really big, real big. Here's a bit of a problem though. This is not cutting through to the inside, and that's because I haven't lined up the UV mesh correctly. And I want you to look at this and go, oh, you know what? I can line this up perfectly. No. This would have to line up with that and perfectly. No, no. We'll just for now pretend. I might do some 3D modeling in the future to fix that once it's gone over to beamng, but you just pretend. There's really not a whole lot of details on here, just mostly writing and stuff. We got this here and then a hoop bar. And luckily for you, I've added on this little bit of a brim area. That way with square cutouts, you can take that all the way over the edge if you want. Look at that. Aren't I so nice to you guys? Ah, you guys don't deserve me. I'm joking. I'm joking, kind of. Make you big enough to fit into place. Seemingly here, I think it's in line with about where the bodywork ends for this radiator. So, oh, actually, we're pretty good in place already. So let's go ahead, make you invisible. Well, I only have intercooler, so we'll use an intercooler. Not really the right sort of shape. And also, I can't unfortunately change the color of this either. Sweet, that is the radiator done. Probably move that engine into place as well. Really hard to tell the gap, but that does look pretty small. Can't tell at all, can't tell at all. Got some images here. It looks like it's maybe a good 10-15 centimeters back. So with the power of engine position, let's move you forwards to about there. Why has the manifold done that? What the hell? Well, whatever, it doesn't matter. Let's add some bracketing in between the two. Luckily, we have a whole bunch of things that look like bracketing sort of material. Believe it. Yeah, here we go. Oh, look at this stuff. I think I'm also going to use this for suspension. Nice. Cool. I'm also noticing that there's not a whole lot of room for the wheels. The wheels are flush with the bodywork. Similar sort of thing here. I think we're going to make the front track width narrower. Thank God for all these extra things. That is just, it's all so freaking awesome. Thank you for all of these extra things we can do. Automation, in you come, and now it's ripe for wheel rubbing against fenders and stuff. Hey! Rear, seems fine. Then looking at here, we've got a weird sort of transmission. Got a barrel with a phallic device coming out of the back of it. Let's start with the round ball-like things before we put on the round round phallic type things. So we got the round things. I'm pretty sure there's something stored in here. I just can't tell you what it is exactly off the top of my head. Anyway, now I want to make the phallic, and I'm thinking I might use this. That'll do. Now it's bracketing for the rear wing. It does seem that that 3D model is accurate. It's really hard to get information on this. Most of these are little toy models, which are not what we need. Now I could make this entirely up, but I'm too lazy. We're just gonna use some more of these 3D parts. I think that does the job well enough for what we're trying to do here. Now, the long and arduous task of doing the front suspension. I'm seeing a beam along the top on a big hub, an A-arm down the bottom, and a steering rod. And an extra beam along here, I'm not sure what that is. Let's just go ahead and duplicate that. First things first, hub. I'm seeing that the hub is the size of the brake disc by the looks of it. So, because we don't have brake discs anyway, because we turn suspension invisible, we'll just make that as big as we need it to be. And then we'll make this out of some sort of plastic to, you know, get the low shininess, bumpiness, sort of like making it look as if it's painted in a hard coat material. Then let's make the A-arm down the bottom, and we have the perfect part for that, and make that also out of plastic. Now some sort of square tube and 2 round tubes. Let's go with square tube first. Make you out of the same sort of material. Now we need 2 tubes. Oh, the suspension is not the same back and forth. Ugh, whatever. Yeah, all right, I can see the tubes go here together. That we can fix in Blender. So we're just gonna run the steering. I'm gonna run you down about here. And then we're gonna run whatever this one is. What is that? Is that also steering? Wait, hold on. Why is there 2? Like, that looks like a steering rod, and this one looks like a steering rod. What the hell? Anyhow, we'll just fake it, whatever. We'll run, 2 of those. There you go. Good for you. Then one final one, and angle you out. And then it runs into some sort of weird bracket sort of thing. It's as if we might have something for that as well. Yay! And we'll sandwich around it. And we're done. Now, we're gonna duplicate this in Blender when we get it over, and we'll run a bunch for the rear suspension. What else do we need? This one has 3s all over it, and Elf and Tyrrell written there, and Elf written here, and Elf written here. We can do that, except this time I'm gonna be a little bit lazier, and I am just gonna use font. And now to stick the letter 3 everywhere. Got one on the side here, one on the front. Oh, that's it. Sweet! Damn, it's the wrong sort of 3. Unfortunately, I can't get this brim sort of look. It ended up looking like that, so yeah. For now, we'll just run it as is. Then we got some flags and some logos. Do I have national flags? I don't think I do yet. We have the Welsh flag only in 4.27. Not quite. We will be the nation of Microsoft. All right, we good? Is that everything? Maybe. Oh, we don't have the roll bar. I think we have here we go. Got this little doodad, and I think we're done. Now we export. Export car. Then we make a clone, trim only, name this something like back, and then we're gonna use this perfect little slider for our situation and move the front wheels back. Then we export this one. I'm tired. Oh, so very tired. But we have our finished car. Here it is. 6 wheels and all. It's got steering, it's got everything you could want. It does drivey things, all that kind of jazz. Here's one thing though. Got wheeled up debug up here. The steering is jank. No matter what I do, the steering is always a little bit just off. So that means that it never really drives in a straight line, which is so annoying. But if you just compensate a little bit for a little bit of steering drift, I'm constantly pulling a little bit to the left there, it actually does like, hold on, I've just noticed something. Why are the brakes uneven? What? Hold on, let me bring up the UI app thing. Yeah, what? How is, what? Well, okay. Sure, fine, whatever. Let's move this off to the side so you can always keep an eye on that if that's something you want to do. I am gonna take this car around. Now, my whole concern's about like traction on the front. I completely forgot that if you double the width of something without changing the compound of the tire at all, you're actually just dividing the amount of pressure put on each wheel, meaning the traction it gets is halved per doubling of wheel. So it ends up being exactly the same. The only thing that is different is the suspension is a little bit stiffer on the front because there's now double the amount of suspension. So if we pull this one up, lock it in place, you can see that this one still is independent. Luckily. The car itself is just a little bit, it is jank. It is annoying. It pulls to one side or the other. Currently it's pulling more to the right more than the left. Sometimes it pulls to the left more than the right. Sometimes this thing understeers and sometimes it doesn't. That has to do with the nature of having more wheels on the front the way that they are. Realistically, when you accelerate, more weight is shifted from the front tires, meaning the rear tires get more traction, which means it's more oversteer on exit of corners. When going into the corner, you're braking, all the weight is put onto the front tires, meaning that it has a longer wheelbase, giving it more understeer. So when you want oversteer, it's got understeer, and when you want understeer, it's got oversteer. God damn it! And yeah, it's oh god, it's somehow worse. I don't know what's happened, but it's gotten worse at handling. Let's see how this thing does at the slingshot. Hopefully we'll be going about 250 or more by the time we reach there. Nah. That's fine. Okay, getting over. Damn it, I was looking away. If you could somehow get over the dodgy steering stuff, I actually have rather high hopes for this. Can you change gears? God damn it, beamng. All right, let's try this again. If you can somehow get over the jank steering, probably only able to get over that with, oh, it's not changing gears. Why are you not changing gears now? What is happening? Oh, god damn it. Without the jank steer, now I'm struggling because I was off angle because of the weird steering. It actually does turn in quite nicely and mid-corner, all that sort of stuff. And the brakes are a bit off. This had better be better with the steering wheel, because as it stands, this thing is so bad. And don't ask me why it is bad. I don't know. Brake power. Let's up the rear brake power. And if you're wondering how I did this, well, what you do first is you duplicate to make this, make this, make this, and make this. And then change all of the names of everything inside and out of the file to be a different name. I just put X on the end of everything. Don't try this at home, kids. It's not worth it. Honestly, no, it is one of the worst mods to do. It's just trash. Add on to that the fact that the steering is all levels of jacked up. Not entirely sure why, but apparently it just is. Oh, look at that, it actually went into 5th gear this time. Let's see if we can steer properly, get off the wall, and then turn. Damn it. I was correcting, which meant that I wasn't turning in at the right time. Okay, reaching about top speed, and I was too close to the inside because I had to correct the steering. Come on! I hate this car, but we've brought it over to Monaco anyway, because let's just drive it. I'm gonna be honest, I've done a little bit of testing, and it's so goddamn inconsistent because the toe out changes on one side whenever it wants to, and I can't do anything about it. So I've got my wheel set up. We're going to give it a try. Hot lapping, let's go. And most of this is going to be done in post. So this car was actually a lot easier to control with a steering wheel. Here's the problem though, is once I finished recording this video, I spent probably another 3-4 hours, and I eventually actually did figure out how to fix it. Now, it's not 100% perfect, but it doesn't have wandering steering anymore. But let's get back to the thing at hand here. This car is actually incredibly stable, and there's very little jitter, even before I put in the stabilizing code file I put in. But even still. Alright, let's try that again, shall we? Well, yeah, oh, okay. It wasn't so... how bad... please! Eventually, however, we finally got a lap done. Now, you'll notice that there's not really going to be many correct racing lines, and that's because the vehicle was just searching for traction. I had to do whatever I could. But once you get into a corner, the wheels are properly loaded up, and the wheels actually choose a direction. So this wasn't so bad, but don't get me wrong, this was really hard to control. Braking I could do later because there was more traction to be had in the front, which allowed me to get more force down with the brakes. In real life, this car actually did not too bad in Monaco. It wasn't really the forte of this car, though. This car was meant for high speeds, and this track didn't really, you know, benefit much from just all-out speed. That, however, doesn't change how much I just love this car. No matter the technical limitations that automation cars have in BeamNG, it was still so much fun. Now here you're going to see me skirting back and forth, and this was the most tricky part of the whole race for this particular car. Getting it turned there, really, really hard. Coming down here, I was able to brake quite late like I was able to in the Ferrari. Brakes are thoroughly well done by now. The 10-inch wheels with the little brakes inside of them, oh my god, they were like the size of biscuits, very, very small. Now here you're going to see that this thing gets a little bit skittish coming around. I was able to bring that under control. And there is actually a few areas here and there, and I reckon that already I could probably knock off a couple of seconds, but this is the scariest part of the whole thing. It becomes really wayward right about here, and you see that? Then coming around a little bit more wayward, and keeping it under control was the hardest thing. But coming down the start-finish line, we're actually going pretty close for what I expected this guy to do. Not a bad time. Is it a good time? No. Are the brakes that are cooking there helping me? Actually, yes, because I have too much brake force on the front, apparently. But having apparently more brakes on the front meant that this is actually quite stable compared to a lot of other F1 cars that I've made through automation. It almost makes me want to make this car outside of automation, because automation is not so fun. If I'm being honest, no, not a whole lot of fun. Now, I'm going to be fair, and I'm going to say that this is probably the coolest one I've ever made, but it's also the least favorite one I've ever made, mostly because of that jank steering. Now, this is going to go up in the beamng repository, and I urge you to try this thing out so you can see just how hard it is to drive. Just imagine driving down a road and then randomly turning to the side. Now that as a thing, it sucks, yes. But imagine braking into a corner and then it decides which ways it wants to turn, and then heading through the corner, it's inconsistent, and then on the exit, it's going a different way now. Like, it's so annoying. I have an idea. What I'm gonna do is do a little bit of Phil Hill, and here, it's got up the steering wheel. So you could just see, okay, maybe I should be quiet during this. Full swear mode, activate. Now keep an eye on the steering wheel in the bottom left. I'm constantly turning right. This is the most egregious offense of this car. What was that? But you get the idea, right? It's just arbitrary. Though I am determined to actually do a lap. And much like my wish to become a real boy, it finally came true and we were able to finish a lap. Finally. This thing was just so wayward that you'll notice I'm going light all the way through. But even going light doesn't stop us from doing this, which was annoying. Off the wall! Yeah, I really needed to fix it. And during this point, I was thinking to myself, I need to figure out how to fix it. And eventually I did. I went back and I turned all the suspension to non-self collision, which did actually fix most of the issue. But still, you see that I went right ballistic into there. You just had no control over direction when going in a straight line. It was the worst thing in the world. Load up on a corner like that, fairly good. Load up on a corner like this one, doing pretty decent. Still a little bit sketch. This corner, however, was just the nicest of all. Look at that. Turn in, the car turns, get through it, no jiggle. It was just absolute supreme. This corner, kind of the same sort of thing, locked up on the way in because I was a little bit more zealous than I was the other one, because the other one you have to go over a crest to get into, so you do have to be quite careful. And gotta really keep your wits about you if you're driving this thing. I might actually release a jank version of this along with the fixed version. All I have to do is just change a few little lines of code and it'll be right back to where it was. But even though it was the worst thing ever, this probably only took about 10 tries for me to do a pretty decently speed lap, me do English. And yes, here we go. The final corner, going quite easily, don't want to go too fast, and done. Yay! We've done it! 1 minute 42. That's actually really bad. Oh dear. So, a really cool car. It's not the greatest if we're gonna be honest. The real car was a lot more successful than what this one was. I can't. I have done dual front axle suspension in my own time before. I was gonna make a tutorial on it, but it ended up becoming such a pain in the butt to actually troubleshoot everything that would constantly go wrong that when I went to do it this time, I was thinking about doing the same thing, and once again, everything went wrong again, and so much troubleshooting, I just decided, you know what, no, I'm not going to do a tutorial on it. Now, I'm pretty sure came in, who's a guy in my Discord, who's a guy you'll probably see around quite often if you're in my community. Yeah, he knows how to do it much better than I do, because when I try to do it, everything breaks. But as it stands, I hope you have all enjoyed today's video, because I most certainly have. But for now, I'll catch you all next time. Goodbye.